Awesome. I see it. Good morning.
Mm.
Okay. Just gonna plug my phone in. Welcome to Saturday morning yoga. Thank you so much for joining me today. Um, okay, we're all set up. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started today in a child's pose position. So today will be a mix. We'll try to incorporate a little bit of everything, a little bit of recovery, restoration, a little bit of movement, more energy. So let's start in a child's pose. We'll connect our big toes together at the back of the mat. And just let your chest fall over your knees. Reaching your hands forward here. Stretch it out long. Inhale deep into the belly. And a slow exhale out. We'll take a moment here. Just bring your arms back by your side. Maybe connect the palms to the bottoms of the feet. Lengthen through the spine, reaching the crown of the head tall forward. Inhaling, we reach both hands forward and just tent the fingers. Mount the fingers here, leaving the palms off the top of the mat, really activating into the fingertips. We'll inhale, start to round forward, pressing away the shoulder blades and drop the hips down low, squeezing the glutes here. And we'll let the chest open forward into a cobra. So we're going to start to do some spinal waves, pushing the hips back into a child's pose. And then rounding forward into our cobra. And we really want to tune into the spine and the wave, the undulation motion. Rounding into child's. And then inhale, waving the body forward into our cobra, opening the chest, squeezing the shoulder blades in the back, trying to get your pelvis to press into the ground. Inhale, lengthen, or at your own pace. You could take a few more of these waves. Inhale, coming through into a cobra. Exhale, pushing the hips back into your child's. Inhale, we'll pull through into cobra, and we'll just pause here for a moment. Let the shoulder blades pull back, open the chest, maybe tilt the chin up just slightly. And we'll let the chest fall all the way down to the ground. Interlace the hands behind the back, pull the fist back towards the mat. Try to lift the chest off the ground. Find a lotus pose. Locust. Exhale, release. We'll try to activate also through the legs this time. Inhale, push the fist back. We lift off the chest. Lift the feet off the ground, engaging through the legs. We find a locust pose. So maybe if your hands are clasped, if you're hyperextended, think about keeping a slight bend in the elbows so you're not really straightening all the way through. Trying to keep the palms together. Activating. Exhale, release. Hands back under the shoulders. We'll press up one more time into cobra. Inhale. And then exhale, bend through the knees. Sit the hips back to the heels. We'll tuck the back toes. And then start to straighten through the knees here as we find our downward facing dog. A slight walking of the dog, bending and straightening into the knees. And coming to find some stillness in the down dog, really grounding through the palms, the whole hands. Maybe you notice a lot of your weight is more in the fingertips, less in the palms. We press the heart back to the thighs. Really lifting your hips as high as you can here. You want to feel like you're sticking your butt out, lengthening through the hamstrings. Another deep inhale into the belly. And an audible exhale, open mouth, let it go. On the inhale, we'll lift through the heels and start to walk our feet up to our hands. Finding about hip distance with your feet and a generous bend in the knees. We're going to find our dangling pose here. So if you'd like to grab opposite elbow, maybe just let the head fall between the arms. Like have your arms framing your ears here. And yeah, sticking the butt out. Maybe you can sway a little bit side to side. Or you just like to dangle. A deep breath expands the belly wide. And the exhale pulls the navel in towards the spine. Let it go. On the next inhale, our hands come to our shins. We straighten through the knees and halfway lengthen, ears pulling away from the shoulders. Exhale, fold a little bit deeper here. If you can straighten the legs this time, see maybe if you can fold, but still trying to keep your heart open. The belly is kind of reaching towards the thighs here. Forward fold. Inhale, we'll bend through the knees, start to round through the spine. Inhale, roll it all the way up to standing, reaching arms overhead. Maybe gaze up. Exhale, hands to heart center, hands by your side. Beautiful. We're going to start off with some twists. This is my favorite way to free the energy of the spine, kind of loosen everything up, get everything flowing. So you find the grounded feet here, about hip distance apart. And we're just going to start to twist from our belly button. You can let your arms really just maybe bend a little bit. And you might want to bend the knees as you go side to side. And you can even start to play with the tempo. See if you can speed it up a bit here. And coming back to the breath, slowing it down. We come back through center. Wonderful. And we'll inhale, reach the arms overhead. Whenever you're ready. And let's exhale. Let's take a side bend. Left hand grabs the right wrist. Take a side bend, stretch to the left. Really pull that wrist. Inhale back through center. Right hand grabs the left wrist. We'll take a side bend to the right. Gaze up. Inhale back through center. Exhale, waterfall flow the chest down, forward fold. Inhale, straight knees, hands to shins, halfway lengthen. Exhale, plant the hands. We step it back into our plank position. Let's hold plank here. Press the shoulder blades away, activate through the core. Really high off the tippy toes. All right, well, take another, let's do 2 inhales here in plank. Feel the strength. Start to feel the burn. The elbows, the insides of the elbows are kind of pointing more forward. All right. Inhale. Exhale, we'll bend into the elbows, keeping them tucked into the side. Find a low push-up chaturanga. On the inhale, we'll flip the toes, start to open the chest forward and up, upward facing dog. Squeeze the glutes here, really protect the lower back, allow you to find more flexibility in the upper back. And we'll exhale, lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. On the next inhale, lift the heels, Bend the knees and float or walk the feet to the top of the mat, releasing into a forward fold before inhale, rising all the way to standing. Exhale, release. We'll go through it a little bit faster this time. So grounding through the feet, we'll inhale, rise arms overhead. Inhale, gaze up at the hands. Exhale, hinge, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lengthen, straight spine here. Exhale, plant the hands, step back into plank. On the same exhale, we lower into our low push-up chaturanga. On the inhale, upward facing dog, lengthen. Exhale, downward facing dog. Push it back, hips up in the air. And if you want to stay high on your tippy toes, this sometimes helps if you have tight hamstrings. To really find that position of sticking the butt out and pressing the chest back towards your thighs. And exhale here. On the next inhale, we lift through the heels, bending the knees, step or float the feet to the top of the mat, releasing into a fold. Before inhale, rising all the way to standing, reaching it up. And release, hands by your side. Wonderful. Let's get into a little bit of a flow here. So we're going to start with a balance. We'll shift our weight to our left foot, start moving with our right foot. Grounding. We'll inhale, lift the right foot up. And we're going to cross this ankle over the left knee if you can. Finding a figure four shape, we gently sit the hips back. This is our standing pigeon, one of my favorite stretches because pigeon is just miracles to the hips and the quads, but it's also balancing. And as you kind of fold into yourself here, squat low, maybe bring your hands into the chest. If you fall out, just come right back in. All right, well, inhale, we're gonna lift the knee, lift the arms maybe overhead, and we send this leg back into a warrior three. So we're gonna find a T. We're starting out pretty hot here. Don't worry, we'll get into some nice stretches. We find a T with the body, trying to square the right hip down, maybe flexing through the right toes, straightening through both knees. All right, we'll plant the hands, drop the right toes behind, ground through the back knee. Find a low lunge, inhale, rise. If you'd like, you can keep the hands grounded, maybe keep them on your knees or lift them overhead. Exhale, we plant the hands. We'll find a skandasana. The back toes flex, and we're going to pivot this back knee and toe to face up towards the ceiling. We sit the hips low towards the front heel. You might be high, you might be low. Wherever you're at, find your breath. The inhale lengthens the spine, and the exhale relaxes your hips deeper into the stretch. We're going to turn, pivot towards the front of the mat. Right hand grounds inside the left foot. The left arm reaches up to the sky. Take a dragonfly twist. We're going to try to go for a wild thing. Hang on if you can. So a wild thing, this front left foot might come to a side plank, or we might step it all the way back and behind the right leg. Shift the hips up towards the sky. A nice chest heart open back bend here. This is my favorite pose, period. But we take a nice deep back bend if you can. And exhale, your hands are gonna find plank. We come back through into plank. Beautiful, we're gonna send it up and back, three-legged dog, left leg reaching high up into the air. So right leg grounded, left leg reaching it up. We'll play with the hips. We open, stack the hips, square the hips off. Open, stack the hips, and square the hips off. Beautiful. Inhale, reach the left foot higher. And we'll exhale, bring knee to chest. We're going to step the foot between the hands again. Here we ground through the back foot into a warrior two position. So back foot turns towards the long edge of the mat. And we cycle the arms up to a T. Staying really nice and low in this knee, the front knee. The glutes are activated. And we're gazing over the front fingers. I love a warrior two. We'll inhale, take it back. The front arm reaches overhead, lean it back. Peaceful warrior. Wonderful. And we'll take it to a side angle, front forearm onto the front knee. The back right arm reaches overhead this time. Still gazing up. If you want to go deeper, we take the left arm inside this left foot, stretching it out. Inhale, we're going to come all the way back up, straightening through the front knee here. We'll prepare for triangle pose. If you need to shorten the distance between the feet, might help a little bit. Both legs will be straightened. Front toes point forward, back toes point towards the long edge. We'll take our arms to a T. Inhale, we draw the fingertips forward. And exhale, hinge over the side body. We want to really try to stay lengthened through the side body. Our heart center is open to the sky here. So really thinking about that length and heart opening. It's not about how far you can get the hand down. How lifted can you stay through the side? How open can your heart stay to the sky? We'll exhale, release the right hand down. Hands come to frame the front foot, and we pivot the back foot to face towards the front right corner. We're finding pyramid pose. So both legs are straight, but our hips are square towards the front of the mat. And again, we want to focus on the heart opening of the chest. We're not folding and rounding through our spine to fold. We're opening the chest, reaching the belly towards the thigh. We're going to inhale, lengthen. Exhale, take a fold if you can. Try to find some compression here. You might even find your quads activating to help you stretch even deeper. Wonderful. We're going to lift off here one more time. Let's walk the hands forward a bit. We're going to lift off the back toes. Find our warrior three. So straight legs, strong legs. Keep the hands grounded or lift them off the ground as we find a T to the ground. Our whole body and leg is parallel to the ground. Try to find a nice balance. Before we release, the back leg plants, releasing into a fold. Before inhale, rising all the way back up to standing, reach your arms overhead. And exhale, release. We'll take it to the other side. All right, so we're shifting our weight here. If you need to take a moment, shake it out. We're going to find our weight in our right foot. On the inhale, we lift through the left knee, cross the left ankle over the right thigh, and sit the hips back low. Maybe your hands come to heart center, finding a nice balance here, a nice stretch through the hip and quad. And in these poses, we find our breath. We always just come back to that breath, back to the inhale and exhale. We're going to inhale, rise. And send this left leg back into our warrior three. Feel free to ground through the hands. We're just coming to a T shape here, the back leg kicking out, the chest leaning forward. Beautiful. Another deep inhale. And exhale. We're going to ground through the hands gently and ground through the back foot. We're going to drop the back knee into a low lunge. Inhale. Maybe your hands stay grounded, maybe on your knee, maybe you reach them overhead. Exhale, releasing the hands. We're going to tuck the back toes, pivot the back foot to face up towards the ceiling. We're finding our low side lunge. So the left foot, the knees and toes point up, and we're really trying to sit the hips towards the front heel. You might have to keep the hands grounded as well for extra balance. That's okay. And we pivot towards the front. The left hand grounds in beside the right foot. We're pivoting, and the right arm reaches up into our dragonfly twist. Getting ready for side plank warrior, um, side plank wild thing. So, if you like, you can start to even shift onto the outer edge of the left foot. Start to sweep this right foot to stack on top of the right. You find a side plank. If you like to go a little bit further, we take the right foot behind the left, press the hips up towards the ceiling, find a nice deep back bend here, inhale. And exhale, we'll ground through the hands. The feet come back into our plankish position before we send up to a three-legged dog. Right leg lifts up really nice and high, three-legged. Ah, we'll play with the hips. Let's stack the right hip and close the left hip. So you can bend the knee for this if it feels better. Kind of just see what range of motion you can get going on with the hips. Challenge it a bit. And then we'll pull the right knee in towards the chest. Inhale, step the right foot in between the toes. Beautiful. From here, we're grounding through the back heel. Inhale, rise it up. Warrior two. Arms come parallel to the ground. We'll sink nice and deep into the front knee. A nice wide stance, especially if you're tall. If you're tall, your feet are going to need to be farther apart so you can get really nice and low into this. You want to tuck the pelvis, squeeze the glutes, activate through the lower body. On the inhale, left hand drills down the back leg, right arm reaches over. Exhale, release forward, right arm to right thigh, left arm comes overhead, gazing up. Maybe go a little bit deeper, right hand grounds inside the right leg. Opening the chest. Beautiful. Inhale, we come all the way back up. Perfect. We're going to come into our triangle. If you need to shorten the distance a bit, our front leg is going to straighten here. Make sure the chest is just open towards the long edge of the mat. Our arms come to a T. We draw the fingertips forward, hinge over the side. Trying to make a 2D shape with the body so our shoulders are stacked and our hips are stacked. You can get in between a really slim opening of a wall. You're sandwiched between two walls is how flat and 2D the body is trying to be here. Beautiful. We'll exhale, release the left hand down. Both hands frame the front foot. The back foot pivots, points towards the front corner. We straighten through both knees. Inhale, lengthen. We're finding our pyramid fold here. On the exhale, releasing the chest over the front leg. Um, The inhale will halfway lengthen. Walk the hands a bit forward. We're taking off one last time. So the back leg lifts off the ground. We find straight knees here. Warrior three balance. You got it. A nice inhale to feel yourself lengthen. And exhale, release. Roots together. Maybe take a forward fold. Before inhale, rising all the way up to standing, reaching arms overhead. And exhale, release. We're going to take here the feet apart, turning the toes to face out, and maybe the feet towards the edges of the mat, just a little bit wider of a stance here. We'll take a yogic squat. We're going to start to bend into the knees, drop the hips low. So take your time if you want to add a little movement, a little up and down before settling into your yogic squat. You can add a little sway side to side. This is to me a staple in yoga, the yogic squat. And a few yogis would agree, probably, many. The yogic squat is such an important pose for flexibility in the ankles, strength in your glutes, quads, hips, everything. A lot of people, when we were um, more primitive of a species, would sit in a yogic squat. It's a common position to eat in, to go to the bathroom in. It's just a more common position to enter that we have, no longer need to somewhere. So sometimes it's nice to come back to this, opening the hips. We're going to place the hands behind us. Let's find a nice seat. Extending the knees out straight in front of you. Our staff pose or seated staff. So your hands can kind of just press into the ground next to you. Have a straight spine and maybe tuck the chin in towards the chest, flexing the toes here. Really straightening through the knees. On the inhale, we reach the arms overhead, gaze up at the hands. Lengthen through the spine before folding forward gently. Here, if you have tight hamstrings, definitely bend the knees. You'll still get all the benefits of the pose. Inhale, opening the chest. Exhale, folding a bit deeper. Beautiful. Let's inhale, lock it in, and up. We're gonna, I'm super quick. Take a moment. Perfect. All right, we'll head to our back. Rounding through the spine all the way down onto the back. We'll hug the knees in towards the chest. Give yourself rock here side to side. This is this is such a good digestive pose. After you eat, if you have any gas pain, if you just lay on your back and hug your knees into your chest, give yourself a rock. Always feels good. All right, the left leg will ground. Actually, we'll start with our back bend today, our chest opening back bend before releasing into our stretches. So grounding through both feet, knees pointing up. You can start with your hands pressing by your hips into the ground. So the shoulder blades plant, and we're gonna inhale, we're gonna tuck the pelvis. So you want to feel the whole back is on the ground. Yes, and the pelvis is tucking forward. We'll inhale, start to lift, squeeze into the glutes, bring the weight back onto your shoulders. So this is our bridge pose. This in itself is supposed to be a back bending heart opener. If you don't really feel it and you want to feel a little bit more, you can maybe walk the feet in a little bit And try to reach the hands towards the ankles, finding more of a back bend, more of a heart opener. If it's in your practice and you'd really like to try something a little extra fun, you can go for the whole wheel pose. So this is half bridge. We'll go for whole full bridge where our hands plant beside the ears, elbows up. We start to press, press, press this upper body strength a lot into the arms before we open the chest. You'll want to feel yourself shift your weight back into your hands here, if you can, and really just bring your awareness into the shoulder blades. Don't let them just hang out. Hold them back into place. We'll take a nice deep inhale wherever you're at. That's okay if you're not in the full wheel. Take the half wheel. The only way to get to the full one is to start with the half one. Inhale deep. And on the exhale, very, very slowly, start to unravel, come down, drop the head, neck, and spine. Vertebrae by vertebrae, all the way down. We'll once again hug the knees in towards the chest. This time, let's add some circles with the hips, drawing some circles with the knees. Switching direction. Let the left leg down to the ground and we'll extend straight through the right leg up to the sky, grabbing a hold of the calf, ankle, or peace finger with the big toes. We pull the leg in closer towards us, really lengthening through the back and the spine still. Inhale. On the exhale, we're just going to dip this leg open to the side before crossing it all the way over the body into a spinal twist with the left leg staying extended straight. So the knee will bend here and we cross the knee over the body. Let's take our arms to a T. We're trying to ground through both shoulder blades while also trying to ground through the right knee. If your left hand wants to assist that right knee to pull to the ground, you might feel a deeper stretch. We'll also turn the gaze to the right. So a really nice deep spinal twist here. And you'll want to just breathe into the belly. Feel the belly button rise on the inhales. Feel the belly button pull in. Feel yourself twist deeper on the exhales. One more deep breath here. Inhale. And on the exhale, we're going to slowly unravel. Hugging the knees back in for a moment. Give yourself a little rock side to side. The right leg extends straight and down. The left leg extends straight up towards the sky. Take a stretch. So grabbing anywhere along the leg that's comfortable, you can keep a bend in the knee. You can keep it straight. You can add some movement if you want to bend and straighten or point and flex the toes. There's any movement you'd like to add that feels good, then do it. Just here as your guide, always, this is your practice. Inhale, really stretching, lengthening. Exhale, open the left foot right out next to you. Before crossing this left knee, we'll bend the knee, cross it over the body into a twist, opening the arms to a T. Trying to ground through the shoulder blades. Thinking about the belly. Beautiful. We're gonna inhale one more time deep, and we'll exhale, come back through center, finding our happy baby pose as we hug both knees in. Both hands grab the outsides of the feet, and we kind of just open, extend the legs, pull the knees down. Happy baby. Maybe add movement, swaying, bending and straightening into the knees. Whatever feels good. You're feeling like a happy baby. Yoga class is about to end. You showed up for yourself today and you're feeling good. On the exhale, releasing here. We're just find our final resting posture, extending the legs out straight and letting your arms rest next to your side. Welcoming a deep inhale. And as you exhale, feel yourself melt and release and let everything fall out of you as you sink heavy into the ground. For just a couple of moments here, finding a state of complete relaxation, letting the jaw and forehead and cheeks relax. Please feel free to stay in this state of relaxation or resting pose for as long as you hope, as long as you would like. You can also join me in reawakening the body, bringing the awareness to the breath for a deep inhale. We expand through the rib cage, chest, all the oxygen you can pull in, hold the breath in. Whenever you're ready, a slow release of the breath, pushing all of the air out. The next inhale returns you to your natural rhythm of breathing. You start to wiggle the toes, wiggle the fingers. We take a nice deep inhale, reaching arms overhead, full body stretch, lengthen. And then exhale, roll onto either side body, coming into a fetal position at your own time, sitting up to an easy seated pose. Wonderful. And then just close off the practice with one more breath if you'd like to join me. A nice deep inhale to send the arms overhead. And exhale, we'll tap our thumbs to our third eye and bring our hands down to our heart center. Just bow to yourself for a moment in gratitude and thanks for showing up today. I really thank you for coming to the practice. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I hope we can flow again together. There's always so much to learn, so much to discover. So hope you're here again. Namaste. Peace be with you.
Namaste.